video. We're gonna do some Mission Nursery. Even though you're at your house and we're at our house, we would love to do some Mission Nursery. So just like every week, we're gonna start with 2 songs. And you can either listen or you can click on the link that I will send to your mom or your dad. So the first song is My God Is So Great. Are y'all ready?
So great, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so great, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do. God is so great, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do. He has power over death and sin. My God is so great, power to give me strength within. My God is so great, power beyond what I can see. My God is so great, my God can do anything. My God is so great. So great, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so great, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so great, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do.
Are you ready to join us in this song?
Yes!
Go!
Father Abraham had many sons, had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's all praise the Lord. Right on. Father Abraham had many sons, had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's all praise the Lord. Right arm, left arm. Father Abraham had many sons, had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's all praise the Lord. Right arm, left arm, right foot. Father Abraham had many sons, had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's all praise the Lord. Right arm, left arm, right foot, left foot. Father Abraham had many sons, had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's all praise the Lord. Right arm, left arm.
Hey everyone! Now it's time for the story time. So if you have this book at your house, the Jesus Storybook Bible, go and get it. Maybe yours is yellow, maybe yours is purple, or maybe it's a different color. But if it says the Jesus Storybook Bible, it's the same book. So at Mission Nursery, we've been reading different stories about God and His people. So a couple of weeks ago, we read about 2 sisters. Does anyone remember about the 2 sisters? Here was the 2 sisters, Rachel and Leah. And they had some kids. So today we are going to skip a story and read God to the Rescue. So if your book is the same as mine, that's page 84. Ready? You ready, Amy? All right.
Ready!
God to the rescue. Joseph and his brothers grew old and tired, but their children's children stayed on in Egypt, where they became a very large family. Can anyone do large? With your arms, do really large. Later on, a new king began to rule, but this Pharaoh didn't remember Joseph, and he didn't like God's people. He made them into his slaves and beat them and made them work harder and harder. God's people cried out to God to rescue them. And God heard them. He remembered his promise to Abraham. He would look after his people. he would find a way to set them free. One day, Moses was looking after his sheep when something caught his eye. A bush was behaving very oddly. It was flickering with flames, but its leaves weren't burning up. He took a closer look. "Moses," boomed a big voice. Moses leapt back. The bush was talking to him. Have you ever heard a talking bush? Have you ever heard a talking bush?
Yes!
You have? Oh my! What did it say to you?
It says, bananas, Demi!
Bananas! What does your bush say? Well, this bush said
Papa
Moses.
bears!
I heard my people's cry, God said. I have seen their tears, so I have come down to rescue them. Go to Pharaoh and tell him to let my people go free. Moses was afraid, but God said, I'll be with you. You want to turn the page? One page. This one. Okay. So, Moses went to Pharaoh. Pharaoh, Moses began. God says, God, said Pharaoh. Never heard of him. Moses kept going. God says, let his people go free. Why should I? Pharaoh said. Don't want to. Won't. Can everyone cross your arms like this? Won't. That's what Pharaoh said. Won't.
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 No.
No.
So God gave Pharaoh 10 warnings. Do 10. 10 warnings.
10 warnings.
Called plagues. First, God turned the river Nile into blood. Yuck! No one could drink the water. But still, Pharaoh would not let his people go. So God made frogs came hopping and leaping and jumping. In your bed frogs, in your hair frogs, in your soup frogs, all over everywhere frogs. Make them go away, Pharaoh screamed, then your people can go. So, God took the frogs away. But guess what? Pharaoh changed his mind. You can't go, he said. Then God sent zillions of gnats, but still, Pharaoh said no. So then God sent swarms of flies buzzing in your eyes, flies. And after that, sickness and horrible boils, huge hailstones and a storm of locusts. Then darkness, when it should have been day, until it seemed as if the whole world, creation and everything was coming undone, falling back into darkness and emptiness and nothingness. But each time Pharaoh said, make it stop and then I'll let them go, and each time God made it stop, Pharaoh changed his mind and said, actually, no, you can't go. Finally, Moses warned Pharaoh, obey God or he will have to send the worst thing of all. Pharaoh just laughed. So God said, the oldest boy in each family of Egypt must die, but my people will be safe. God told his people to take their best lamb, to kill it, and to put some of its blood on their front doorposts. When God passes over your house, Moses explained, God will see the blood. Amy, come here. God will see the blood and know that the lamb died instead of you.
The blood is on the door and on the side.
Yeah, on that side?
In the door and on the sides of it.
Yes. That night, it was just as God had said. Suddenly, piercing darkness, echoing down the corridors of the palace, came a blood-curdling scream. Pharaoh's oldest son had died. At last, Pharaoh did just what God said. Get out, Pharaoh said. Just go. And so, that very night, Moses and God's people fled out of Egypt and out of slavery. They were free at last. They were free at last. God's people would always remember this great rescue and call it the Passover.
Well,
Can you say Passover?
Passover!
But an even greater rescue was coming. Many years later, God was going to do it again. He was going to come down once more to rescue his people. But this time, God was going to set them free forever and ever. That's the end of our story, guys. Thanks so much for reading. You can look at the pictures in your book. That's it.
Hi guys, we are so pumped about you joining us for this video and just hanging out with us. And Amy is already so pumped about this craft as she has her multiple materials ready. So one of the things that we learned in our story today was that that Moses was talking to God with a burning bush. So we're gonna make our own burning bush.
Yay! Woohoo!
So what do you need? I know you guys have been stuck in the house so much. So if you want, and your mom and dad say it's all right, go outside and collect a few twigs. Okay, we'll be right back. And we're back. Ames, do you want to show your twigs? Show it to the camera.
Right here.
We got some sticks.
And some twigs.
Twigs. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And mine are a little bit bigger, so if your mom and dad need to help you cut it in half to make smaller ones, just go ahead and go with your parents and they'll break it. All right. So the next thing to do would be to get a piece of paper, and what you're gonna do is just get a construction piece of paper, and your mom and dad can help you. So say this is construction paper, you put it down, and then you start gluing the twigs on. And so we would glue them on kind of like this and like this and like this. Yeah, let's put all of our sticks on. How about that, Amy? And as you glue them on, the construction paper with either a hot glue or whatever you have will work. Some tape, honestly, anything. And then the next thing we're gonna do is look for tissue paper because we need to make that fire. So everyone, go gather some tissue paper. So Amy chose this gold one because she likes gold fire. And also pink fire because she loves pink.
Yes.
So what you'll want to do is you'll want to cut little strips. Kind of like this. I cut it a little bit uneven, but that's because I like my fire to be thicker at the bottom and less thick at the top. And so on your piece of paper, where you have all your sticks like this, you'll want to glue or tape these either on, like going upwards if you like that, and you want to do more of like a 3D fire, or you can tape it down and it can just be like a 2D fire. So get your different strips and put it on your fire. Good luck. So it ended up working that tape worked better for mine, but hot glue guns work really well too in this situation. So I just put the sticks at the bottom and then had the tissue coming out. And it was a lot of fun to tear up the tissue. I have something stuck in my mouth.
Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us for Mission Nursery. We're so glad you're here, and we hope that you learned something and had some fun. Even though we're all stuck in our houses, this is a fun way for us to see each other. So if you want to do the video next week with the Bible story, talk to your mom, see if it's a good week, and then she can talk to me, and maybe y'all can make a video next week.
Yeah.
Okay, we love you guys.
Love you. Bye.